Hello my dear students, and welcome once again to another video for our class in PF101 Event-Driven Programming. In this video, we are simply going to create a very simple graphical user interface, specifically a login frame for a fictitious desktop application. We'll be using, of course, JavaFX. Let's get on with it. Okay, so for this project, of course, we're gonna open up first the IntelliJ IDEA by JetBrains. This is of course the community edition, the one that is free, and we're gonna create a new project and select JavaFX application, and then we'll just call this login form. Okay. I don't want to download any repository from Maven, so I'll just cancel that up. So if we open up our main again, we'll see we have some problems here. And to solve this, of course, is we go to project structure, go on to libraries, and add a Java library, and open it up. I think mine is inside of dev sources. Here we go, and JavaFX, and this one live. Click on OK and apply. So now all the errors are gone, and also in our edit configurations, we're gonna add a VM options, and so here we simply say -- module path, and then the path. If you remember, I created a path variable for this, which is called JFX, and then add modules. We'll be adding JavaFX dot controls comma JavaFX dot fxml. Okay, click on apply and OK, and let's try to run this program. If this runs, then we will continue with opening our fxml file using the scene builder. All right, so there you go, it's running. Now let's proceed with creating our UI. Here's our sample fxml, which is what is being opened up. So when we take a look at the main, so the sample fxml has been loaded using the fxml loader, and is using the root as our reference. This is a parent class, and this root is what is being placed as the scene for our primary stage. So in the primary stage, we set the scene. We created a new scene, and in that scene we put there the UI, which is in this case sample.fxml, because this is root and that is loaded from sample.fxml. So all we have to do right now is to right click on sample fxml and click on open in scene builder. And here we go. So the only thing that is inside of that sample, if you go back to that code right here, is there is, of course, these are some declarations on imports, and inside this is the only element that is inside here, which is a grid pane, and that is what is being reflected here. So we'll use this grid pane for our purposes. I don't want to use this grid pane that is being placed here because there's no marker. So what I'm going to do is I'll simply delete it and add another grid pane from the containers tab. We click on grid pane right here and drag it in here. So now we have a grid pane with markers, and what I want to do is I'll be adding I click on this column, and then I'll insert a column before or insert a column after, and another one right here, insert a column before, Okay, so the reason for that is because I'm going to use this column, these columns as spacers, right there, and then here. And also, I'm gonna add another row here above, and then another row down here as well. Okay, so these two rows will also become spacers. So these 3 rows inside, 3 will be where we will put our controls. The first thing we'll add here is a control, which is a label. So we'll have a label right here, and on the properties, I'm gonna change this to username. Oops. Something wrong with my alt. Okay, that would be username. Let's add another one, another label here. This will be for the password. There we go. And we'll change the font to something larger, maybe 14 or 18, right? Then we'll add a text field. This one, add it here, and another one down here. Since this is a password, we need to change the property for this particular text field. So we change that property right down here, and it's going to be, the role. It's not a text field. We change this to a password field. There you go. Then inside of here, we'll be placing 2 buttons, an OK, a login button, and a cancel button. But since this is one cell, we need to put another container here so that we can put 2 of them. So we'll be using just an H box, horizontal box, and place it right here. So now that we have a horizontal box, we can put items here in horizontal format, and which is where we put our buttons. Again, in controls, we go to buttons right there, and put 1 button there and another button there. So you can control some properties of the H box so that we can have spacing in between the contents. I think it's in the layout. Here's the spacing. We do 20. So now we have spacing between them. Then this one on the properties, this will be for the login, and this other one, this is going for the cancel. And of course, we'll select them both so that we will be using also 18 as font. And maybe we can make this a little longer, the login. So there you go. All right. Let me just adjust the spacing here. Right, and on top of here, we're gonna put another label that is going to tell us what this particular page is or frame. So we'll just put here user login. Okay, so under controls, you go back again, and in the label, as a label, you put here user login. Of course, this is going to be a little bit bigger. We'll use maybe 24 as the font size. I think that's good. Click on save. And by the way, let me make sure that we get the actual size for this, which is 600 by 265. We'll use that for our instantiation of our primary stage, or our scene actually. So again, that was, what was that? 600 for the width. So change this to 600, and for the height is 265. There you go. Also, since this is a login frame, I won't allow resizing, so you can do primary stage dot set resizable to false. Okay, and the title here, we'll change this to user login as well. Okay, click save this, and let's try running this program now. And there we go, we have our login screen, which we can type, and here's the password, but the password is visible. How is that? Why is that? So let's fix that as well. Go back here. Actually, this was already set up as a role with the password field. However, that does not make that does not hide the text that we entered on it. So apparently I made a mistake earlier, and instead of putting here a password field, I also placed a text field. So let's remove this one out, and instead of having a text field, we will be using this one, the password field, right there. And that's all there is to it. And let me check also the properties for the role for this. As you can see, it's a password field. Okay, save this one and go back here, and let's run this program again to see if that worked. Okay, we type here, and there we go, we have password and username. Of course, the login and the cancel buttons don't work yet. That is for another tutorial. For now, that is it for this session, and thank you so much for watching, and see you again in the next one.